Yep, sorry about that. Just realized that I didn't turn the mic on. That old classic. Welcome to, excuse me, welcome to me, Mark, and another episode of Insights. And on these episodes, I look at ways in ways we can help ourselves with the everyday turmoils of life, with the ups and downs of life. Thank you. Thanks for that. You can hear me now. So I was just saying before I realized that I hadn't actually turned the mic on that, we look after our bodies in various different ways, don't we? We take it to the gym and we get on the cycling machine and we get on the rowing machine and we lift a few weights, don't we? And if we're really good, we go for a little run and we do some walking and all kinds of bits and pieces that we do to look after our body. Some of us are super healthy. We just drink water and we're vegan, and some people don't do this and some people don't do that. And it's wonderful. It's absolutely fantastic to see how people look after their bodies. But what do they do to look after their mind? For some reason, and it's quite predominant here I think more so in the West, is that we don't have a moment to spare for our minds, which is such a shame because our body is listening to our mind. And does our mind listen to our bodies? No, not always. It doesn't have that complete cycle, doesn't it? So, what is it that we can do? These very simple kind of mental wellness, mental fitness things that we can do to look after our bodies. Most people probably don't realize how important it is to look after the mind, and in fact, some people probably don't realize how important it is until it's too late. Now, doing mindful practices and mental first aid, or doing mental fitness, as I like to call it, is super, super important. So, if you get the opportunity to do just little daily things to improve your state of mind and to keep your state of mind in check, then it can have such a positive impact on your life. Now, if you do a couple of simple things every day, and they are so ridiculously simple that they are ridiculous, then you can have a super positive impact on things like physical illness as well. Stress. We talk a lot about stress, don't we? We can reduce the mental stress of our mind by using some very, very simple techniques, then that's going to be really good for everyone. And I spend a lot of my time now, my life, helping people with these super easy techniques to help everyone. So good evening to you, Christine. Thank you very much for joining us. Big hello, big shout out there to Christine. And let's have a look about how we can do some of these very quick mental fitness techniques to improve the quality of our life. Or, maybe sometimes we don't realize when we are mentally under pressure or when we're mentally stressed, or we don't recognize when we're going through a tough time. And equally, when we don't realize, it can be harmful to our bodies. It can be harmful to people that we share our life with. And that isn't great, is it? We're not off to a great start. So I just wanted to quickly go over how important the mind is, right? And I'm sure you probably appreciate this, is by just once again framing that everything in your life has its context with the mind. Everything that goes on in your life has its context with the mind. I'm going to give you a little example of this now. So if you're outside and you're with friends and it's a beautiful day and you see a few of these clouds in the sky, and especially when I was younger, you'd look up at the clouds and say, hey, I see a mushroom, or I see a car, or I see a funny face, and I see all these different things. And then the person next to you will look up at the same cloud and they'll see something completely different. It's the same shaped cloud, but your mind frames it differently, has a different context to what it is that shape, that cloud makes in your mind. So the same goes on with your life, really. What one person that experiences in their life at any one given moment, if it's identical for another, is not the same experience that they have. And that therefore brings across some interesting challenges in our life, that everyone sees the same thing differently. Oh, geez. Where to start when that kind of stuff goes on? Well, the responsibility really lies with ourselves to make sure that we're seeing things the way that they really, really are. And we're not clouding it in other pretext, and we're not clouding it in other context, um, to make a kind of narrative that isn't really true. And this goes on a lot. So if we have a look at stuff like, I'm looking at the mind here, right? So if you're just joining me, I'm looking at uh, fitness for the mind and what we can do very quickly on a daily basis. I'm going to give you 3 words that you can use at the end of this episode to really think about and the fitness of your mind, and doing a little of a fitness workout for your mind. Okay, so if we look at stuff like anxiety, if we look at stuff like depression and addiction, they all have their roots buried in the context of the mind. So it's quite possible that if you're not looking after your mind properly, um, you can fall foul of some of the pitfalls in life. But conversely, also happiness, joy, contentment, fun is also things that is put into context by the mind. So you have very clear choices about how you want to experience your life, and you can make those very clear choices in a very easy way. And that is just to take your mind for a little bit of training on a daily or periodic basis. Okay. Now, when you listen to somebody speaking, okay, you're building up. We're all quite judgmental, which is a different topic I want to come on. But every word that that person speaks is coming from somewhere, a spark or a stimulus in their mind. So I'm going to give you an example. If someone's having a really rough time in their life, the words, the phrases, the sentences they use can often be quite self-limiting, can be quite negative, can be quite detrimental to an experience they're having. They can see lots of barriers, lots of reasons not to do things, lots of reasons why things aren't going to work. But conversely, if that spark in your mind is healthy and you're doing work on it, that experience can be very, very positive. So there can be no limits. Not only is the sky not the limit, the moon is not the limit either. And you have that real kind of go get 'em attitude, their life. So happiness, joy, and contentment are super, super positive. And there's 3 words, just 3 words I'm going to give you at the end of this episode that talks about how you can just practice a bit of mental workout on a daily basis, just for a few minutes every single day. Now, mental fitness training, or this mental fitness, works and focuses on what we call, I don't want to say framing, more kind of neuroplasticity, which is a term that means that we recognize that we can change our experience. We can change our neural pathways in our brain. We can change the way that our mind works. And this is very, very, very important for anyone who's trying to change their experience of their life. You need to reframe your experience if it's not what it is that you want. If it's what it is that you want and life is hunky dory, then that's great. Carry on, full steam ahead. But if you want to change something, then you need to change your perspective first. And you need to do that by looking inwards. So going back to this little notion here about things that we do to look after our body, right? We eat healthy, and we drink the right things, we don't have too much caffeine, and we take our body out running. So my question to you now, if you're watching this, whether it's live or whether you're watching it as a replay, is what is it that you do every single day to exercise your mind? Big question. What is it you do? For anyone watching live now, I'd love to hear what it is that you do to exercise your mind on a daily basis, bearing in mind that we're talking about kind of mental fitness and about this kind of neuroplasticity and reframing events, reframing perspectives, so that we're leading a positive, engaging, fulfilling life. So obviously, thank you very much, Facebook user. Delighted to see that there is one person out there who uses meditation. And of course, I'm an avid fan of meditation and using meditation to do this piece of work around neuroplasticity, about changing our neural pathways, changing the way that our mind works, and also to help reframe experiences in life, because life is not easy, but it can be a damn sight easier if you're in the right frame of mind. So thank you very much. Lots of comments coming through here. Meditation. Thank you very much for that. Meditation is very important. Now, meditation can be a very simple exercise that takes just a few minutes a day. And I'm going to kind of come on to that, because meditation has a very broad bandwidth. And there's lots of things you can do under this umbrella of meditation. And at the end of this, if you're in the Heart Mind Yoga group on Facebook, I've got a little meditation that will I'm going to do for you at the end. So if you're not in the Heart Mind Yoga Facebook group, I can certainly suggest that you get yourself over there. There's some great people on there. You know who you are, and the group is a super positive place with people experiencing and sharing their experiences of really of their life in a really enlightening way. So get yourself over there. So mental plasticity and mental workout, fitness is super important. Now here we go. I struggle with meditation. My mind chatters, but calming music works for me. Yeah, calming music is a great one if you can find. In fact, there was a experiment. I can't recall the name of the guy who did it, but he took some ice crystals. He's a Japanese guy, Japanese scientist, and he took some ice crystals and he it's kind of semi-frozen, and he exposed those semi-frozen ice crystals to rock music, and he exposed some semi-frozen ice crystals to kind of operatic or classical music. And the quality of the crystals changed. The rock music crystals were all kind of mangled and mashed up, and the operatic, that's a great word, isn't it? Operatic crystals were very beautifully shaped, crystallized, very, very beautiful. So you can look that up, ice crystals, exposure to music, and you can see yourself that the impact that that music has. So thank you very much, Facebook user, for Emoto, apparently is the name of the guy, I'm being told here. Thank you very much for that. Christine, she sets intent, she goes quiet and feels grateful for what she's done and have very, very joyful thoughts. Well, do you know what, Christine? That's absolutely wonderful to hear. And that really is the context of this kind of workout that we're doing here, this mental fitness training, which is important because we do it for our bodies, but we don't necessarily do it for our minds. And there's just 3 words I'm going to give you at the end of this little episode here about what you can do to apply this mental fitness training to your mind. Here we go. Here's another one. If you've got any comments that you'd like to share, I've got one here. Facebook user, thank you. I try to look at and try to find a positive out of any negative. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Your mind is very good at putting sometimes barriers in place if it wants to, if it's feeling a bit lazy. And you know what? Sometimes there's a lot of negative things going on in our environment. There's a lot of negative things going on in the world. And you just got to kind of it's not, you can't reframe everything as a positive experience, but you can reframe how you interact with that experience, and try and take some of the wisdom out of some of these negative situations. Easy to get dragged down, isn't it, by negativity? But reframe yourself, do some mental fitness training, and look at things in a positive light where it's possible. So thank you very much for sharing that. My name is Mark. I'm looking here at some mental fitness training and 3 very simple things that you can do on a daily basis to have a impact on the quality of your mind. So I ask you a few questions. What are you doing to exercise your mind every day? What habits of mind are you strengthening? If you've got a particular habit that you're strengthening or working on, I'd love to hear about that and how you're getting on, because maybe there are other people who are strengthening that as well. Now, habits can help make changes to your life. Positive habits, energetic habits can all support change. Are you getting better at managing the triggers in your life? I always talk about triggers a lot, and those of you who attend the classes, I know that you probably get super fed up with me talking about triggers, but it's so important, isn't it, that we can control how we respond to triggers, even if it means we get an extra half second to apply wisdom to a problem or to a situation or something that triggers us. I always use the classic: you're driving down the road, someone cuts you up, and for some people, I mean, I don't know if my brother's listening, but he'll blow them a kiss when someone cuts them up, which I think is absolutely hilarious. And other people will go kind of crazy in the cockpit of the car. But how do you deal with triggers? And do you talk to yourself about how to deal with triggers? Do you have anything in place that you can use to manage your triggers? Are you getting any better at seeing yourself dwell up with, I don't know, sadness, anger, worry, cravings? Do you see them things coming up? Here we go. We got some more things. Thank you, Jay. Jay here. I'm working on habits with no judgments and learning to let go. That is awesome. Now, the thing with judgments, of course, if we're too judgmental, then we begin to become defined by our past, which is never completely always helpful. I mean, we need to use the wisdom of past experiences, but we don't need to be defined by our past and our past experiences. Thank you for sharing that, Jay. That's lovely to hear. Christine, again. I choose not to live in fear-based thought environments. Very good, yeah. And I don't watch the news or read too much papers. Now, there's a lot going on in the world at this time. Thanks for sharing that, Christine. And it's very easy to get sucked into that vortex of consistent negative news. It's good to know what's going on in the world, right? We have a duty to ourselves to keep ourselves informed about our environment, but how much time do we need to spend reading on churning through the same information on different apps or different news channels? So allot yourself a small period of time each day to look at the news, and keep to it. Okay, and try and balance that. There's many great positive news networks out there. I use one called Good News Network, and when you look at that, there are many others out there. I just chose that one because it's one I use, and it tells us a little bit about some of the positive stories going on in the world right now. So thank you for that, Christine. We're talking here about mental fitness today and what very quick things that you can do to have an impact on the quality of your mental life. Oh, here we go. We got some more here. Selwood, thank you very much. Thank you for your presence. Lovely to see you here. I'm trying to blank out memories that affect me. I put on a good piece of music. Very, very important. We were just talking about the impact of very, very good quality music there. And there's all kinds of apps and stuff out there where you can listen to focus music, relax music, awareness music, all very soft, calming, medelic music. So just finding the right piece of music that's going to help you relax is very, very important. Facebook user, here we go. Thank you very much. I try to live in my pink bubble. Oh, where did you go? Here you go. Although I keep myself updated with what's going on, but I limit this and do lots of breathing techniques. Excellent. Breathing techniques are the gateway to hack our body very quickly and our minds to help relax us and bring into the context of the world in a very clear way. I'm drinking my green tea there. So we're looking here at mental fitness, and at the end of this episode you can I'm doing a little prize draw here. At the end of this episode you can put in I'll give you the timings, this word #meditate, and you can win yourself access to a free class, be it online very shortly or in person. And you can find out more about my classes by visiting my website, www.marknichols.org. And we do lots of classes that you can come along to. Meditation and yoga. If many of you met Susan does fantastic yoga. And even I'm beginning to be able to stretch properly. So you come along and enjoy yourself there on some yoga classes if you're in the central Essex area. Okay, Jay, lovely to hear from you again. Jay says, one of the habits that helps me connect deeper within is playing various instruments, gongs and bowls, and creating the right frequency allows me to go deeper. Yep. So fact, isn't it, that, a lot of the frequencies that exist in musical instruments from 213, 432 hertz all the way up has an impact on our body. Whether you can create that sound yourself by using various chanting methods, or whether you go to gongs and bells and singing bowls, all very, very good. Thanks for sharing that, Jay. That's lovely to hear. Thank you for your presence. Okay, so we're looking here at mental fitness training and what you can do. And there are 3 simple techniques that you can use on an ongoing basis to help around this process of neuroplasticity, which means having the capacity to change the way that your mind works. Well, not works, but the neuro pathways that your mind makes. Okay. Now, if you're also taking the time to cultivate a mind that's aware and relaxed, content, joyful, and compassionate and playful, I'd love to hear about that as well. Many people talk to me about their, this inner child, this inner young person, this inner playfulness. And it's funny, when we end up getting a little bit older, we lose some of that playfulness in our life, don't we? So if you have any way that you connect to that inner playfulness, or if you give time to that kind of inner contentment, I'd love to hear from you. You can either drop me a message, or you can leave a message, just #replay before. Now I do a lot of these episodes. You can find them on YouTube, you can find them on Facebook. Some are short, some are long, but generally all are I should say they are all very, very helpful. So I'm just going to talk now about power of meditation, as I always do. Now, although people practice meditation and use meditation for peace of mind to reduce anxiety and to reduce or look at controlling stress, that's just the tip of the iceberg with meditation. Okay. Now, with meditation, it's not a one-hit wonder, I'm afraid. You have to practice consistently, regularly, and orderly, and you have to find a practice that's right for you. So you can do that via having a fantastic meditation instructor. Or there are apps you can listen to, or there are people that you might connect with that can help you reach that state of kind of self inner contentment or quietness, so that you can allow the wisdom to arise from within. Now, meditation helps health for sure. We've spoken a lot about this in previous episodes, and it helps increase awareness, compassion, and clarity. And those three words are going to be very much connected to the three words I'm going to give you at the end of this episode about what you can do to ensure your mental fitness. Okay. Now, strengthening the mind through awareness is important because that will help you realize when something is not right. Okay. Now, by our very nature, we are self-regulating organisms, and for thousands of years, we've had the capacity to be able to change and regulate ourselves if we just know what it is that we need to regulate or change. Modern medicine's come along, done an absolutely fantastic job for a lot of people. But of course, a lot of the techniques used in meditation and meditation techniques are used in a complementary way, and they can be useful at preventing these things from arising in the first place. So if you have any ways that you listen to the sound or the noise that your body's making when it's not well, when it's feeling great, or just anything at all, then I'd love to hear about that. You can do that by just leaving a comment here, or you can watch it on the replay. Okay. So meditation also helps expanding the window of tolerance. And we spoke a little bit about, the triggers. It helps increase mental agility, appreciation, and gratitude. And that is important. You need to be able to frame your experience of your life in context with what's going on around you. It's always easy, isn't it, to have your attention drawn by the latest piece of advertising around the certain this, the certain that, or, if only I had X, Y, or Z, then my life would be happier. But having appreciation for the fact that, unlike many people in the world, especially here in the UK, most of us have homes, and we have clothes put on, and very simple stuff. And I don't want to sound all preachy, but sometimes we take for granted these very, very simple things that a lot of people don't have. Now, the three key words I'm going to give you for mental fitness training, 3 words that you can practice every single day to help keep your mind in check, right? Number 1 is awareness. Number 2 is relaxation. And number 3 is kindness. Okay? Awareness, relaxation, and kindness. If you do work on these 3 areas of your mind on an ongoing basis, then you are going to be putting yourself in a great place into the future. So awareness is our ability to pay attention to the present moment. How are you going to do that? Well, you're going to do that by focusing on your breath. Very simple. Get yourself a little stopwatch, a time. We've all got phones with timers on. And just for 2 or 3 minutes now, just focus on your breathing. That's all you have to do. By focusing on your breathing, which is the anchor that's with you your whole life, you can start to increase your awareness. Simply watching the rise and fall of your navel area and watching yourself breathing on a consistent basis is one way that you can improve your awareness. When you improve your awareness, you can see what's going on with you and the world around you. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful. Angela, hello. Namaste. Welcome for your presence. Pleased to hear that that you're and I've actually seen some of your creative work coming out of you. Very nice. Thank you very, very much for sharing that. Creativity can be triggered by a lot of meditation practices. Jay, I connect to the area which feels discomfort from my breathing, then use the breath with color work to replace the plane. That's another wonderful thing that you can do. Very, very good. Let's just have a look then at these three things: awareness, relaxation, and kindness. Okay. Awareness, looking at your breath, paying attention to the unfolding of your mind as you're breathing, and being free of any kind of judgment. And whilst you're unfolding your current moment, just pondering upon your recent feelings or life experiences, and how you've interacted with them. Now, relaxing is about relaxing into the present moment, not trying to necessarily fight everything that comes your way. I mean, sometimes we say go with it or be dragged along, but not necessarily fighting, allowing things to be as they are, long as they're not endangering your well-being or that of others. And by cultivating a mind that is open and willing and flexible. So relaxation, and again, you can use a bit of music to help you relax. You can just ponder on things, and if it's safe to allow things to continue the way that they are, then do so. And if not, then you have to change them so you are able to relax going forward. And then the third thing, of course, is kindness, okay, towards yourself. Very important. And then towards life itself and those around you. And kindness can be best practiced through unconditional friendliness, unconditional friendships. Okay. Kindness comes in many ways. And I'm seeing a few comments come up here about kindness. But by being kind to yourself, you start to change the narrative of the mind, and in which case you start to become kinder to others, and your actual life, unconditional friendliness with others for compassion and clarity. So there are three very, very simple ways. If you can do 3 or 4 minutes every day, focusing on awareness of you and by looking at your breathing, relaxing into any ponderings that you might have about your experiences with life, and choosing which ones you're happy to go with, not fighting everything that comes up in your life, but just accepting that sometimes things work out for the best. And the third one, of course, is kindness, being friendly unconditionally to yourself first and then to others. Now, that is my interpretation of kindness, and maybe you have your own, but these are things I practice on a regular daily basis. And I can do it when I wake up first thing in the morning before I get out of bed, or I can do it part of my structured practice later on. So I hope that helps. 3 words for you to consider now: awareness through watching the breathing, 2 or 3 minutes, watching the rise and fall of the tummy as you're breathing; relaxation by pondering upon and accepting which things that you're willing just to go with in your life, with not necessarily picking out issues with everything. Maybe you have to look at your boundaries. And thirdly, by kindness, by being kind to yourself and unconditionally friendly to others, even if that is really, really tough. And being unconditionally friendly doesn't mean accepting everything that that comes to you in your life. It just means that you are the bigger, better person. And in fact, there is something far more important to focus on in any given situation in your life, and that's your own peace and well-being. Very, very, very important. So I wish you well. I hope that you come back and visit me with some more lives in the future. And I'm now going to say goodbye to everyone who isn't in the Heart Mind Yoga Facebook group. I wish you well. I wish you a joyous, happy, and pleasant week ahead. And we're going to get ready here now for a little bit of meditation. Okay, so I wish you well. And I'm now going to just switch over to the Heart Mind Yoga group. Take care, have a great week, and speak to you soon. Okay, if you are on the Heart Mind Yoga group, well, I hope you're all well. Lovely to